Listen to him. That's what the voice said to the disciples as they were gathered on the mountaintop with Jesus. Listen to him. The disciples, Peter, James, and John, have climbed up this holy mountain with Jesus, and they have seen him transfigured in light, his face shining like the sun, his garments dazzling white. And they've seen Moses and Elijah appear there with Jesus, talking with Jesus. They've seen this bright cloud overshadow the whole mountain, and a voice coming out of the cloud saying, "This is my beloved Son, with whom I am well pleased. Listen to him." Kind of reminds me of my mom when I would goof up and she would say, "Didn't I tell you not to do that?" And I would say, "I forgot." And she'd say, "How many times do I have to tell you to listen?" Listen. Of course, our gospel lesson is a direct echo of the Old Testament lesson where Moses goes up a high mountain to be in conversation with God and to receive the Ten Commandments. And while he's up there, a cloud overshadows the mountain, and the glory of the Lord fills the whole mountain. Almost the same story, but in Exodus. Moses is on the mountain for 40 days and 40 nights, and when he comes down the mountain, he has the Ten Commandments that are written by God on stone tablets. And he shows the people the Ten Commandments, and he says, "Listen to them." When I was younger, I sort of poo-pooed the Ten Commandments. I thought, well, everybody knows that. There's nothing special about them. It's just the same old thing. Don't do bad things. Sure. But as I get older, I realize how important the Ten Commandments are. They are the foundation of our common life together. Honor God. Do not murder, do not lie, do not steal, do not commit adultery. This is the foundation of our society. And most societies have something very similar. It's the same with the gospel story in the Transfiguration. God is telling us in this story to listen to Jesus. Jesus taught about love and compassion and empathy. He talked about repentance and forgiveness and healing. He talked about justice and the importance of the truth. So from the mountaintop, God is telling us, listen up, listen to him. I believe in people. All my life, whenever I've met people, I've always thought that most people are good people. Most people, when you find out about them, who they really are, they're kind, they're generous, they're compassionate, they love their families, and they want the best. They have a sense of humor, and I can usually find some way to connect with them. Maybe they're not Bible-believing Christians, but still they have the same basic sense of values that I do and that other Christians do. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That's a universal moral statement. But lately, when I hear the news, I'm beginning to realize that there are some people who are so high up that they believe that they are above those values, that those values don't apply to them. They're so rich and so powerful and so elite that they believe that the only values that they have to live up to are their own desires. I guess it was the release of the Epstein files that made me realize this. Turns out that there's a class of global elites who love to get together and talk with each other, party with each other, back up each other, give information to each other, make deals with each other, and protect each other. And Jeffrey Epstein was right in the middle of all this. I didn't know all this. I'm not saying there was a global conspiracy or anything like that. There was no shared ideology among these people except that I deserve everything I can get. And they have no values except for personal pleasure and personal enrichment. And the trouble is, these are the top people in our society. These are the leaders and decision makers in government and academia and corporate life. And their values are the values that filter down to everyday people. I mean, if Bill Gates can get away with it, why can't I? If Bill Clinton or Lutnick can get away with it, why can't I? It's not what my mama taught me. My mama taught me that I had to be accountable. I know you didn't do that homework. Now you sit down there right now and do it in front of me. I didn't have any choice. I had to listen to her. The story of the Transfiguration tells us to listen to God. Maybe it takes a mountaintop experience to get that across to some people. I don't know. Some people are just not hearing it. I think when you get to a certain level of power and wealth and elitism, that you stop listening. You don't listen to God. You don't listen to your family. You don't listen to your friends. You don't listen to your advisors. I mean, obviously, you know more than anyone else, so why should you listen to anyone else? So you stop listening. You live in an echo chamber, and all you hear is your own voice being reflected back to you. But God says, listen. The voice on the mountain said, "This is my beloved Son with whom I am well pleased. Listen to him." Listen to the values of the Ten Commandments. Listen to the values of Jesus. I'll be the first to admit that I'm not always the best at listening to God. Sometimes I get caught up in my own ideas and my own self-promotion and my own goals, and I forget to listen. And usually it doesn't turn out very well. I'd do a lot better if I would listen. Listen to God, listen to my family, listen to my friends, to the church. That's what's really best for me. You may have heard of St. Benedict of Nursia. Benedict was a young man back in the 500s near Rome. He went to Rome to study, and he was so disgusted with the immorality that he saw in Rome that he left Rome and he went into the countryside, and he found a cave to live in as a monk. And he became well known, and people started to follow him, and he ended up starting a monastery and becoming an abbot. Started 12 monasteries. And in order to organize the monasteries, he wrote a rule. It's called the Rule of St. Benedict. It's well known even today because and people read it today because it contains a lot of practical and spiritual wisdom. The first sentence of the Rule of Benedict is this: "Listen carefully, my child, to the instructions of the Lord, and attend to them with the ear of your heart." So listening is the basis of the whole Rule of Benedict. And not just listening physically with the ear, but listening spiritually as well with the heart. And that means to let down your defenses, open yourself to ideas that you haven't heard before or that you haven't understood before. It means entertaining ideas that might be uncomfortable. It means listening with the ear of the heart. Well, I wish our nation would listen more with the ear of the heart. Do more listening and less talking. I mean, we claim to be a Christian nation, but it seems to me that often our nation is not listening to the words of Jesus. Often our nation is not listening to the words of the Ten Commandments. And if we were listening, truly listening, then I think we would be a nation with more compassion, more justice, and more willingness to hear the truth.